Coding is easy, friends, if your fundamentals are solid. If your fundamentals are very strong, friends, coding is very easy. My name is Vivek Agarwal. I'm a senior engineer. I'm an interviewer. I'm a trainer. And whatever I teach, whatever I'll be teaching in this series will directly be coming from my experience as all three of these. I'll bring in my experience of working with really huge projects. I'll teach you how to write clean code. I'll teach you to write code from the eyes of an interviewer. How to write a code that stands out, that gives an impression that this is written by someone who cares to write clean code. Okay? So, one very obvious question that comes into mind is that who is the intended audience? Who is this course, these playlists built for? So friends, for anything in this channel, I'll be assuming complete beginners. So I'll guide you from writing your very first line of code to building complete, dynamic, responsive applications. I will help you in writing your very first line of code. There is no prerequisites. It's completely fine. It's completely okay if you have never written any code. I'll guide you. I'll walk you. I'll talk you through them. Cool. Second is, there are lots of nice channels, nice websites, nice courses with lots of free content. For example, when I wanted to learn React, there were like 10s, 20s of full courses, full-length courses in YouTube. And there were many 30, 40 hours courses in different course platforms. I went through them, but I could not crack any interviews, right? If you see, web development courses, you will do an HTML ka entire playlist, right? But you do that, you do the second playlist, you do the third playlist, you do the fourth playlist. They all teach almost the same things. But yet when you sit into an interview, in a technical interview, you find yourself not being able to answer anything. Because every playlist, almost every playlist that you encounter, they dive into easy and fun parts, one thing. Second, they are all incomplete, right? And one promise of this channel, one commitment of this channel is that whatever will give you, whatever playlists we will be creating, they will all be 100% complete. From A to Z, we will teach everything. We will practice for interviews. We will be building projects. Each and every project is going to be complete. Second problem with the existing content is that if you want to learn simple thing like HTML, there are lots of things which are included. Some people include CSS, some include Sass, some include Tailwind, some include whatnot, right? And it becomes very difficult for an absolute beginner to learn that way. Another thing which is going to be different in this channel is that every playlist is going to be pure. So when you are learning HTML, you are learning HTML from A to Z in a pure way. Okay, without mixing it with the rest of the things. When you're learning CSS, you're learning everything about CSS. And third is senior engineers. So, for example, if you talk about CSS, many engineers who had like 2, 3, 4, 5 years of experience, but when they learned CSS from me in a live class, they were amazed by the clarity they got. Something that used to scare them became fun. Something that used to take them days now takes them minutes to do. So it will add value. These playlists, these courses, these videos will add value to everyone. Whether you are an absolute beginner, an aspiring developer who have already done a bit of research, or you are a seasoned developer. So again, if you search online, I want to become a web developer, I want to become a full stack engineer, and the roadmap that you get is literally scary. It's a huge list what to learn, what not to learn. Is React better, Angular better, or Vue better? Is Node Express better, or Koa better, or Strapi better? Is Django better? Are these libraries still relevant? Do you need to learn Bootstrap, D3? Lots of questions. What is Sass? Abhi tak CSS, it's not making much sense. Now, what's this Sass, right? What is NPM? What is Node? What is Git? My God, the list is scary, right? So the need is a pure curriculum, a step-by-step way to learn things. And that is something that I'll be providing you. And in my very humble opinion, the best way to start web development is to master HTML first in a pure way, then CSS, then JavaScript, and then ultimately, we can connect the dots and create nice applications using all three of these. And once the fundamental is clear, you are just ready. You're just ready to build anything else. So, learning React, Angular, Express, this will be like easy peasy once your fundamentals are clear. Now, one question that might come up in some of you is, what is the difference between this backend and front end? Now, friends, you don't need to understand it totally. Even if you get 10% of what I'm telling right now, it will be more than enough. So what I just want to show you is how an output of a backend application looks like, how output of a front-end application looks like. As simple as that. You don't need to understand anything about it. Just I want you to know before we move to the next lesson, what is a backend application, what does the backend application output, and what does the front-end application do with that. Okay, let's see that. So if you look at my notes now, which will be provided to you, I have included a backend example, which is free. This is code written and hosted by someone. This is a backend code. In case in future it's not working, I'll replace it in the notes. Okay. So at the time, if you see, this is a complete backend application, using which we can access posts. For example, if I go to this particular URL, JSON placeholder typecode.com/posts, don't worry about what these things are. You get a certain kind of an output, a very raw output. So I'm writing this URL, right? I'm hitting enter and I'm getting this data. So for sure, this data is stored somewhere in some database. Is it making sense? Right. Now, if I change this limit to 5 or 3, something happens. I get back data, but this time I just have 3 records. So there is some system, some software behind the scenes, which is giving me this kind of very raw data. So this is the work of a backend application. It deals with databases. It listens to the request that we are making right now from our browser. And it gives back data in a very raw form. This is the task of a backend application. Okay. Now again, as I said, even if you understand just 10% of it, it's okay. We will dive deep into all of these. But I just want to give you a bigger picture. I believe in this theory, this pedagogy, this way of teaching, of macro first teaching, that you have a bigger picture and then you are filling in the gaps. You're looking into the minute details, right? And minute details makes much more sense once you have the bigger picture. Now, what if I want to use this exact same thing, output that I get from a backend application in a front-end application? It might look something like this, right? The exact same image. So if I click on the image here, friends, you will see that these are simple images. I have the same images, same titles, same descriptions, but this time some magic has happened to that data that we were receiving from the backend application. And now we have a little bit more user-facing application. So it's user-facing, so it's called the front-end application, right? And by the way, this backend is totally written in JavaScript, Node and Express, using Node and Express. And this front-end is totally written using HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. So you see that in JavaScript, we are interacting with this backend system. ये backend system से we are interacting, and we are somehow using HTML, CSS, and JavaScript to give this nice front end.